Hello, friends. Uncle Marv here, and welcome back to my Unhealthy episode, the show where we talk about health and wellness from a much different perspective. No BS ways to fix unhealthy symptoms in your life without losing your mind. Well, today, folks, I've got a new friend to the show. Carlijn Krijger is a woman's health coach and medical student from the Netherlands, and she works with clients all over the world under her brand, Superwoman Health. And I think today we're just going to kind of hear her story and find out all about this Superwoman thing. So, Carlijn, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
All right.
I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited.
Well, thank you for joining us. So let's get some of the easy questions out of the way first. So you're in the Netherlands.
Yes, I'm in the Netherlands.
And now your bio, of course, says you're still a student, but I know people can be students at any age. So is this something you went back to school for? Is this something you changed direction in life to get to?
So I consider myself always a student of life, of course. That's like the cliche that everyone loves to say. But it is very true for me. And I used to be a student like the way that most people see it in university until 1-2 years ago. So I have my bachelor's in veterinary medicine, but I stopped and I started for myself. So no, I'm not in school right now, but I am a student.
Okay,
yes.
Great. We're doing something a little different today, folks. So we are going to intentionally split this show into multiple segments. A lot of times we don't figure that out until halfway through the show or right at the end when I want to know more. But in this case, as I was doing more research on Carlijn, I said, you know what? I've got to spend a lot of time fleshing out the history here because, Carlijn, I told you before we started recording, I hear a lot of people interview you and they start with your pivotal event and then talk about what's happened since then, but nobody's really asked you about life before that. So I know that you gave me permission to do that, but I want to just let people know that that's what we're going to do today. All right?
Be prepared.
Okay. So for the most part, most people, when they hear you interviewed, all they hear is you went a year without a period. And then you tried to figure out all the, regular medical stuff. None of that worked. And then you found a way to heal yourself. And then they stop. And then they talk about your website and your health stuff and your spirituality stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, there's a bunch of stuff there that we need to know about. So can I ask you, let's start before that. What was life like before you lost your period?
It was my story is actually interesting, at least it is to me. Because before my period stopped, I was studying veterinary medicine. I had very good grades. I had actually lots of energy. I ran half marathons, was in very good shape. I ate very healthy. I had everything perfect. I was modeling. I was seen as very considered attractive and considered the it and all of these things. People would tell me oh, no wonder why you're having XYZ success. That was the kind of person that I actually was. I was very confident, very full of myself. And then suddenly something changed. And but before that I was very confident. I had my life looked very good. Let's leave it there.
So, I mean, you described a lot of stuff there. So, you talked about the fact that you ran marathons. So were these full marathons?
Health marathons.
Health marathons. Okay. So 5K, 10K sort of things.
Yes. 20, most of the times it was 20 kilometers.
Okay. Nice. All right. You ate healthy. And when you say you ate healthy before, what was that like?
It was, yeah, I just ate clean. Like I had some vegetarian diet for a while because, well, I wasn't veterinary medicine, so I didn't find it really ethical to eat meats.
Okay.
I had a lot of ideas about that. But I overall ate very clean. Like for my whole life, I've eaten very clean. Like never processed foods, never like sugars. I've always ate very, very clean. So yeah, I did everything perfectly, and still that was not enough,
Okay.
turns out.
So as you start to realize that something was wrong or off with the body, what were those initial things like? Because again, I can't imagine it was just one day you woke up and said, "Oh,
No.
I'm sick."
Yeah, yeah,
What were the things you
yeah.
noticed first?
Actually, it's funny that you say that because now looking back, I only realized how sick I actually was because at the time that it happened, it was very slow, like very, very, very slow, like a steady, steady, steady decline, almost unnoticeable. And well, the most obvious thing is that I didn't have my period. But long before that, I was bloated. I wasn't digesting my foods. I was, how do you say that? Like apathic. Like I didn't have that much enthusiasm anymore.
Okay.
Like suddenly there was like a life force being drained out of me in a certain way. I started having brain fog. I started sleeping badly, having a certain type of dreams that was really unsettling. And all of these like tiny things that were just slowly, slowly, slowly. And then, yeah, at one point I started having huge mood swings and huge like mental breakdowns and like crying over nothing. And well, just not having my period, first of all, like that was pretty obvious, right?
Well, but
But
here's the thing.
like no libido and
Most people wouldn't think that. I mean, and for, let me first say as a man, I hear all the time women say, "Oh, I'd love to go without having my period." So
that's
that
what I said.
okay.
That's exactly what I said. I remember very, very well that one of my friends said like it's actually not that good to have not have a period, right? Maybe you should go to the doctor, maybe you should see someone. And I was pretty full of myself, pretty arrogant, and I was like, yeah, I don't really need a doctor because doctors are not the shit anyways. Because I was all into holistic things and all these things. And I said to her, I actually don't really mind not having my period.
Okay. All right.
But later on, I actually did.
Okay.
So
And how
yeah,
how was the time frame? Was this like over weeks, over months?
months and months and months.
Okay.
Very slow, very slow. Yeah, very hideous, actually.
Hmm. So so if it was over months, because I have to imagine you talked about, having dreams and not feeling, energized and stuff. Was it something where you just kind of felt, well, I'll snap out of it? I'm just going through a little period. Maybe something else was caused. Was it school? Was it pressure? Was it a relationship? I mean, did you think it might be one of those things?
Um, it's hard to explain because at that time I was having a lot of exams and a lot of like from like school related things. I was studying medicine, so there was a lot like I had to study. It was a lot. And so I could easily like isolate myself for weeks on end. I wouldn't see anyone and I would wake up at 6 a.m. and study 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 until one midnight and then wake up and do the same thing all over again for weeks on end.
Hmm.
So yes, it did affect my relationships because I didn't see anyone. And I was so focused on having these exams, having these exams, having these exams. And that's what it was for me. Like I didn't even notice that I was tired. I didn't even notice that my body was breaking down on the background. I just did not see it.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
I,
It is very weird.
yeah, I'm trying to understand because I do think that because a lot of us do have stress in our lives that we just kind of set aside and say, oh, well, once I get past this project or once I if we're in school doing exams, once I get out of school and into the summer, things will be better. So yeah, I can understand that to a degree. Now, when it comes to things like bloating, brain fog, I'll be honest, I don't really have an idea of what that's like, especially the brain fog. I've had people try to describe it to me, and and they do a good job. It's not them; it's just me. I can't
Yeah.
imagine brain fog. I couldn't imagine just coasting through the day and wondering, "Oh my God, how did I get here?" Sort of a thing. Is that what you were going through?
At a certain yes, at a certain period of time, I would say like I've had moments and I've had periods that I was having this thing, and then it was this thing, and then it was trying all sort of things from my body as well, right? There's a lot that happened throughout the years that
Right.
I tried to heal myself. But the things that I can remember is that, for example, I wanted to say something, and I mid-sentence I lost what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I was suddenly like, okay, I forgot.
Wow.
It was just blanking.
Oh,
So that was really annoying because I really felt stupid in front of other people.
hmm.
I felt actually stupid. And yeah, so that is something that I do remember. And also when you, for example, you want to, what's a good example? You just zone out. You're just not there for a second, and then you're like, wait, what happened?
Right.
So that's what it was for me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just
So,
as if I'm not there. It's like my mind is like,
right.
but I cannot clearly catch what anything that I'm trying to grasp.
Gotcha. Got you. So going through all of that, was there a particular point in time when you said specifically, yeah, I've got to go have this looked at by a doctor and stuff? Was there a particular moment that did that for you?
Um, yes, so after I finished my exams, I came back home to my parents' house because I stopped the studies. I wanted to get into my own business. And right there, like everything got worse and worse and worse. And I got mood swings, very bad mood swings. Like I just couldn't control my emotions. 1 hour, I was completely fine, like calm. The next hour, I would like have to scream and cry and fight, and I would attack anyone around me. It was really intense, and I just couldn't get. I felt like I had to get something out, and I couldn't get it out. Like I had this emotional ball within me, and I just couldn't. Didn't matter how much I screamed. Like I remember many times that I was laying on my bed and I was just screaming my lungs out, that I couldn't talk for a week later, and I just couldn't digest it. I thought that I would have to express my emotions as I was taught on Instagram or whoever told me, and I just couldn't get it out. Like no matter how much I screamed, no matter how much I cried, like I did express my emotions. I didn't hold anything back, and still I couldn't handle myself. And so one day I landed in a huge fight with my mom because I was just so reactive. Like it was just nothing I could handle. And then I said like, okay, I have to change. Like this has to change right now. And I said to my parents, like, I don't care if you don't support me, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to figure this out. And I asked doctors and I asked functional medicine practitioners. And that's why I said like, okay, this is it. This is not okay. It's done.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you got to that point, you went to the doctors. What did they say? I mean, because I
Great
mean,
question. Yeah, what did they say? They said a lot of things. So I went to a conventional doctor on my parents' advice, and I was already like, they're not going to help me anyway. They're just gonna get me onto an anti-conception pill, and that's it. And I don't want that, and all of these things. But yeah, they did a blood test on me, did a couple like norms for thyroid, for sexual hormones, but like really like a panel. Maybe they did like 20% of the hormones that they should have gotten
Okay.
in the blood, right? It's very mixed up for one moment and one period of time. Yeah.
Okay. And
Of course, they didn't see anything there,
right.
right?
And they probably gave
It's
you a
pretty
couple of
obvious.
pills.
They didn't give me any pills
No?
actually,
Okay.
which was surprising. I thought they would maybe get me something for my thyroid or something like that, but I actually insisted on getting an ultrasound because I thought that I may have like PCOS or any related disease.
What is that?
PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's
Okay.
basically something a lot of women have right now, and it's a condition where cysts grow on the ovaries, and they can like symptomize, if that's a word, in hair growth, in on the face, on weight gain, on like weird periods, maybe missing periods or very painful periods. So I thought maybe that's me. I don't know, right? So I wanted an ultrasound. I really insisted on getting an ultrasound. Got an ultrasound. Nothing there.
Hmm.
So no cysts, because you would have seen them on the ultrasound. And yeah, so that was that. And I was like, yeah, well, okay, what now? And they didn't really know what they wanted to do with me. And in the meantime, I asked a functional medicine practitioner who did a Dutch test with me. So a Dutch test is basically a urinary, I don't know the abbreviation, but essentially you have the urine,
You're
yeah,
okay.
urine, your pee, that you measure throughout the day, like multiple times. And in your pee, you can more or less see like stress hormones, sexual hormones. So that would give me like a better picture of what my sexual hormones would look like.
Okay.
And they also did some GI tests with me. So they tested my stool for parasites, for digestion, for liver function, some other things. So I did some tests with them. And then it showed on these tests that my sexual hormones were that of a woman beyond a menopause. So around 80 years old. That's the hormones that I had, like totally flat.
Like gone. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
So that was the result of the functional medicine practitioner.
okay. So at that point, were you thinking, okay, I've lost all my hormones. This is it. My life is going to be like this forever?
Well, there were some signs of like cortisol, like tanked out cortisol, or like burnout like symptoms. Um, and they gave me a bunch of supplements to boost like the sexual hormones and boost whatever they wanted to boost. And then I still felt like shit. And then I suddenly said like, okay, I'm going to Spain
Okay.
for
So even though
a
they
month.
found all that stuff, it still wasn't working.
Well, that's the moment that I moved to Spain, and that I actually got my period back. So that's the next step in this story. But it happened together. So yes, they may have helped, but I actually know that it wasn't really me lacking any supplements, right? That was the problem. Like I
Okay.
didn't lack supplements, I lacked something else. Like I didn't, it's not the reason that I lost my period is not because I didn't have enough supplements, right?
Okay.
That's what
Right.
I'm trying to say. You understand?
Yeah. I understand that.
Uh-huh.
But so did you have to get hormone replacement therapy or something to get the
No,
hormone? No, that not that.
no. I went to Spain and 2 weeks later my period was back.
Okay, well that sounds too easy. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the change from, where you were to Spain? I mean,
Well, looking back, I now know, and at that point, at that period of time, I think I knew intuitively. Sometimes you have this knowing, right? But looking back, I know that I just had a huge lack of vitamin D, huge lack of vitamin D, because I lived in the Netherlands at like a year but like during that time I lived in the Netherlands, constantly inside, constantly studying inside. I looked like a zombie. Like I had eye bags from here to the moon, and I looked very, very bad and pale and just really tired. And then I was 2 weeks in Spain, and I completely, like my whole complexion changed. It was wild. And yes, my period came back. Why?
So,
Because I was constantly in the sun out there.
so a lifestyle change, basically.
Huge lifestyle change. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, at that point, could you look back and say, okay, here's all the healthy stuff that I was doing that actually made it worse? Was there any of that, or was it just simply lifestyle change? We're good.
I would say that I did a lot of things to try and solve it. Like I tried a lot of handlings, but I didn't actually look at what was going on. I didn't actually understand the body, even though I had been into health for 10 years. 10 years I've been studying medicine and health, and I still didn't understand the basic needs of a human body. And I was trying and trying and trying. I saw all of this content online. I was doing random things, parroting a lot of things, thinking I knew it all because I knew better on social media than what they taught in schools, and that's all old. And I had all of these arrogant statements. And I think that there was nothing that I did that was really damaging. But I did a lot of things that were unnecessary or just not. Actually, everything I did helped me in some way.
Okay.
So, no, I wouldn't say that anything I did was really damaging. I would say that just detoxing and just doing a lot of cleanses, that's what I did, is not the answer.
Okay.
Because you can, I would say this, you can really break down things in the body when you're constantly cleansing and cleansing and cleansing and cleansing, and not really restoring a certain type of harmony in the body.
Okay.
Right?
So you said detoxing, so we didn't talk about earlier. So you were doing a health detox. Were you doing, colon flushes or parasite flushes, or I don't even know.
Everything.
Everything. Okay. So you were doing all that.
Yeah. I didn't touch on that because I tried a lot of things, but I did gut cleanses, like 5 liver purges, parasite cleanses, plastic detoxes, many things.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's my question. If you went to the conventional doctor, they did tests. Your first functional doctor did tests. Did none of them say anything about a vitamin D deficiency?
No.
No?
No. And this frustrates me so much because health is so simple and everyone complicates it. But 99% of disease is either mental, like mentally or spiritually, like infused, or like a simple dysregulation, like circadian dysregulated or dehydrated, or like lack of sunlight or lack of certain nutrients that you would be easily found if you would just eat like whole foods. That's how simple health really is.
Interesting. I'm a little flabbergasted because I think our doctors, any doctor, functional or conventional, would look at, our vitamin levels, because that's a big thing talked about. Even on the YouTube or the TikTok, it talks about, you need more vitamin C, B, D. You need the alphabet of vitamins. And in a lot of ways, I think we might be taking too much of those supplements. And I had a talk with a gentleman about a week ago where he said, well, a lot of the problem with a lot of the vitamins and supplements is that they're not dosed properly, where you're getting very little benefit, which is why they're so cheap, why you can find them in the box stores, $8 for 1,000 pills or whatever. But I have to imagine that going to a doctor, a vitamin D test comes up somewhere, but I guess it doesn't.
Well, they didn't test me on that.
Because they didn't think that was the problem.
I don't know what was going on in their head, but I can definitely second that on the vitamins.
Okay.
And I would also say that I think it's very, very, very underestimated how powerful the sun is for our health in a good way, and how extremely powerful circadian health is. Like each and every of your 37 trillion cells has a clock gene. Everything that your cell does is in a specific order. Now, each and every time you look at the sunrise, for example, your body, there's a whole signal cascade that goes from your eyes to your brain to the rest of your body to regulate each and every process that's happening. And no one's telling you this because it's too easy and it's too simple, it's just light, it's everything. You have been evolved with that bitch out there for 4 billion years. And then now you want a bottle with pills that's going to heal you supposedly because it's a vitamin Z.
Gotcha. All right.
By the way,
yeah.
Vitamin D from a pill as a supplement is very different from the one that's made in your skin.
How so?
I was taking vitamin D actually via patches on the skin.
Okay.
But it's a very different thing than when your skin makes it on itself with the sun. It's a whole process. There's a lot of signaling involved. There's a lot of communication with other parts in the body. You don't get that when you just artificially patch a plaster with some synthetic vitamin.
Interesting.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay. No, did not know that. All right. Well, you started us on the path, and I do want to continue that, but I'd like to go ahead and have this be our breaking point
go on, Rance.
so we can get into there. But obviously, a big part of what we're going to do on our next show is talk about, how to listen to your body, how to deal with those things like you mentioned, the brain fog, the digestive issues, vitamin D deficiency, and all of that. And we're going to talk more about your Superwoman brand. Carlijn, thank you very much for being willing to share that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me stay on track.
That's okay. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, her information will be in the show notes. So if you want to reach out to her before part 2 comes out, feel free to do that. But we will be back with the part 2 and talk more with Carlijn Krijger. And until then, do what you always do, live healthy and be happy.